Hey, beautiful being. We have an announcement.
We'll be in
Berlin?
in Berlin.
Berlin?
Speaking in Berlin the 30th of November, Saturday the 30th until Sunday the 1st of December.
It will be 2 days,
Yeah, it will just be an afternoon of meetings on both days.
3 sessions a day,
Is it 3 sessions?
2 sessions a day. If you want further details and if you would like to join, then you can visit your website.
Yeah, you can email me to register, www.thisboundlessfreedom.co.uk. We'd love to see as many of you as possible and have a nice weekend together in Berlin. Lots of love.
Lots of love. Ciao, ciao.
Bye. Hey Laura, thanks for the
Oh, now
heart.
it's getting serious.
Yeah. Mm.
Hey, the link from Nico's email doesn't work without a passcode. I don't know if you want to like reply to that email, Nico, and just tell people the passcode, because otherwise, if they're coming from that way, can't get in.
Say that again.
The Zoom link in your email you sent out 2 days ago, it asks for
Yeah.
a passcode when you click on it, but I don't think there was.
Yes,
Was there one provided in the email?
I guess so.
Yeah, I
guess
think there
it was
was
included.
actually.
Yeah,
I think there was, yeah. Yeah.
I think so. I'm not sure. I have to check it to be sure.
No, it just says join Zoom. I just came in that way, and then it prompts you for a password. So you may just want to reply on that thread with the password if other people get stuck or not. I came in from Izzy's
Yeah,
website.
but it's impossible to do it for the moment. So
You're
okay.
right, actually, yeah. Yeah.
maybe I did forget it. I can be. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
I just did it. So anyways, no,
Thanks,
it
Ethan.
is what it is. So, okay.
Oh yeah. Probably yeah. Just clicking on Zoom and there was no passcode provided. Yeah. So yeah, I see. Well, maybe some will figure out that it's your link. So
Yeah, I think everywhere else was my link, wasn't it? And that's all on there. So yeah,
yeah, I only changed my my link recently. It seems it was on my website because originally we were going to use mine. So yeah.
that's true. Yeah,
As
that's
it
true.
was.
Yeah. Hopefully my Wi-Fi is going to be okay. I notice it's dropped there. Yeah. Okay, I think it's back. I might have to, yeah, my Wi-Fi is a little bit turbulent, so hopefully it will be okay. Okay, well, we'll start then, I think, and then see if a few more people filter in. Yeah, well, so what we're basically talking about here, or what we seem to be talking about for the next hour and a half or so, really, is that this is all there is. So this is it. There's just what appears to be happening. That's what we seem to talk about here. That there is just boundless energy, you could say. So what we're basically talking about is energy. These meetings, these apparent meetings, are energy and seem to be about energy, you could say. But energy is not a thing that is noticeable or an actual object or an actual identifiable thing. What we're actually talking about is that boundless energy is everything, and at the same time, it is absolutely nothing. So what we're saying is that what appears to be happening is simultaneously nothing being everything at the same time. And it's this. So there is nothing to get out of these meetings. But what we seem to just suggest is that there is nothing to get, and that there is already just what appears to be happening. So sitting on a chair, looking at a screen, is what appears to be happening. But the suggestion that's being made is that that is completely and utterly boundless already. So it's completely and utterly impersonal as well. There is nobody in this. It's just what appears to be happening, sitting on a chair, looking at a screen. An apparent body on a meeting, listening, thinking, whatever seems to be happening, is just what appears to be happening for no one. So what we're suggesting here is that there is already nobody on Zoom. There is no such thing as a separate individual. There is no such thing as separation. So there is just sitting on Zoom, listening to a couple of speakers talking and having a discussion. That is already the simple and direct freedom that is longed for. So we're exposing here the illusion that there may be this sense that I am sat on Zoom. So I'm just going to mute some people. That I am sat on Zoom. So energetically, what can seem to arise is this real lived sense that I have a life and that I am in the body and that I am sat on Zoom. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. But what we're simply suggesting here is that this is a complete and utter illusion. Already, there is nobody sat on Zoom. There is just what appears to be happening. But when you feel like a separate individual, it feels very real. It feels exclusively real. And there seems to be some sort of agitation with this. Just by feeling that I am sitting on the Zoom call, there's a sort of a loss, an energetic loss that's sensed, not even really consciously, just energetically. There's something dissatisfying about this. It really feels as if there's something missing. And so the individual energetically is then longing to break free from this apparent contraction, this constriction, and longing for boundlessness, basically. But this will never actually happen, because what we're suggesting here is that boundlessness is already the case, and that there is an individual that is tied up and constricted and trapped and locked out of heaven is a complete and utter dream. It's a dream. There is no individual who's trapped. There is no individual who's lost, and there is no individual who's not free. There just is no individual. So you never will be free, and you will never get anything out of these meetings or out of life, because what we're suggesting here is that there is just these meetings and just life and just what apparently happens, and there's nothing to get in them, because this is completely and utterly empty. This is completely and utterly empty and full at the same time already for no one. So that's what we seem to discuss. And yeah, don't know, see if Nico wants to add anything to that.
I have nothing
I can
to
hear
say.
you, Nico. Yeah.
It was muted. Add to what you were saying for the moment. Maybe I could just say something about the practical side of this so-called meeting. So it's a recorded Zoom. Thanks everyone for joining, by the way. It's lovely all to see you. It's lovely to see you all. And so this meeting is recorded. Parts may be used for social media and YouTube, I guess. You're not in the recording, so just if one is asking a question, you can just unmute yourself, ask a question, and then there may or may not be a response, probably. It's a free meeting as well, though your donation is always very warmly appreciated. It's what helps to keep this kind of meetings going. And it's a preview of a live meeting that's coming up in Berlin later, not this month, but next month in November. So that's it for the practical side. Easy did a nice introduction. There's really nothing to say about what seems to happen, because I love the word freedom. All there is already is freedom. And what seems to happen during this setting, if you like, that searching for freedom is completely futile. It's completely useless, because it's just furthering a misunderstanding that there seems to be a you who is separate from what we call freedom. So it's an exposing of some things that this cannot be experienced. It's singular, because often there is or there are people who are offering a path to this, which is utterly ridiculous, because this is already everything. So it's impossible that there would be a path that leads to that, what is already everything. as well is that there's nothing wrong with the seeking. So there's no need to overcome or whatsoever. Seeking is already complete as it is, and it will never ever lead to a finding. So
Yeah, so basically we've got until half 6 British summertime, but 5:30 for Nico, and I'm not sure how that translates for everyone else. But anyway, we've got an hour and a half basically to just yeah, everyone's welcome to ask a question or comment or just say hello to both of us, either of us. It can just be open. There's no real structure, there's no plan. It's just sort of an open discussion for all of us. So yeah, we can just see what comes up.
whatever seems to happen is already the mystery that's longed for.
Okay, somebody said in the chat, why does the sense of being someone feel so ridiculously real?
I can be your assistant and read the chat if you like for today.
Oh, go for it, Nico. Well, okay, since I've read that one already. Well, why does the sense of being someone feel so ridiculously real? Well, of course, this is the ultimate question for the individual, because what we seem to suggest here is that feeling like an individual is completely and utterly illusory. There is no such thing as separation. Oh gosh, I think I'm gonna have to change my Wi-Fi here. Bear with me, I'm just gonna change over to just get rid of that. Okay. Can you hear me? No, I seem to have completely paused.
Oh, yeah.
Am I back?
Yes, you seem to be back.
Okay, sorry about that. So I was saying that this is obviously the ultimate question for the individual, because the sense of being someone feels completely and utterly real when it feels that it is me, that it's happening to me. And yet what we're saying here is that it is a complete illusion. There is no such thing as separation. There is no such thing as a separate individual. So there is no answer to this question. There is no answer to why does it feel so real, because what we're saying is it's completely unreal. So there's just no answer to that. It cannot even be addressed. Something that doesn't exist cannot be addressed because it just does not happen. The only thing that is exclusively not real is being an individual.
Yeah.
So.
And what is being pointed at, if you like, is not an illusion, because often that is what seems to happen as well, that people are turning this, or that this would be illusion, or this, whatever this is, would be an illusion, which is definitely not the case. It's like easy as saying. So the only illusion as in it is not there, is that the sense of being someone, it's just non-existing. It's the only illusion. So it seems like there is one, but there is no one. It's smoke and mirrors, baby.
Yeah, which is the amazing thing, really, because when you feel like an individual, it does feel real. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel like an individual. So when we say it's an illusion, it's sort of an energetic illusion in this sense, because it's not just an idea. When you feel like an individual, you really feel like an individual. And yet the amazing thing is that this is a complete illusion that never happens. It's a total and utter mystery, and there's no answer as to how that apparent illusion seems to appear without ever actually really appearing.
Yeah.
The mystery.
And there's nothing wrong with it. It's the sense, I am here, and from the moment I am here, all the rest seems to be out there. That seems to be the illusion of separation. And there seems to be some speakers then talking a lot of nonsense about this. And it may seem for the individual that the one who seemed to talk about this has reached something, or has some knowledge, or has come to a conclusion, or whatever that might appear as an ID for the individual, which is definitely not the case. So when this is seen, by lack of a better word, it's a very subtle seeing for no reason, that there never ever was someone there, that it was an illusion all along. That's basically it, really. And it doesn't need to be seen, because what we're talking about this is already this, and we're talking about everything. Let's see. You want me to be your assistant and read the question?
Well, I won't complain.
Just enjoy while it lasts. Like the snake and rope pointer. I have no clue about that, really. You heard about the snake and the rope pointer?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is sort of this whole thing of an illusion. Like, yeah, it's just some of this. I think it's like a spiritual pointing. At least that's where I've encountered it before. This sort of, yeah. Well, this is the thing, though. Of course, in this case, what we're actually also saying is that there is no rope. Even we're saying there is no illusion. So, yeah. I mean, this. Because I've heard this before, and this is sort of saying that, and you can easily get very tied up in this, because then this is basically saying that, excuse the pun, but it's basically saying that there is an illusion that can be seen through, or that this is like the water in the desert or whatever. It's like a mirage, that there is an illusion that you can see through. But what we're actually ultimately saying is that the illusion is that there is an illusion. There is no illusion. There's no real illusion. As I sometimes say, it's an apparent illusion that never actually happens. So how far can that actually be? So yeah, with this whole snake and rope thing, it kind of implies that there is, I mean, I just can't fathom all this stuff anymore. It twists me inside out. But it's that you think there's a snake and it turns out to be a rope or something like that, and that's not really what we're talking about, because that would be that you feel separate and it turns out that there is no separation, which it kind of is, but it's actually there was no one who felt separate to begin with. That's the amazing thing. When the sense of individuality dies, it's actually revealed that there never was anyone who felt separate. There never was any issue. Separation was a dream that never happened. It wasn't a dream that did happen and fell away. It never happened. That's the amazing thing. When I died in this way, it was a surprise that actually the whole of the life of this body, there never had been anyone. It never went from someone to no one. There had never been anyone. And that was the surprise in many ways. It was like, oh, energetically, there never had been anyone. This whole life I thought I'd lived had never happened, not even as a dream. So, yeah.
Can you mute that one, Izzy?
Yeah.
Please, because I can do it. Thanks.
Hi, Izzy. Hi, Nico. Nice to see you.
Hey, Kevin. Good to see you
Hello.
again.
Yeah, nice to see you. And thanks for having this. So if I say that the illusion of being a separate individual here seems to come and go, perhaps that's not actually true. The seeming to come and go.
Exactly.
Well, there's no real individual to begin with. There's just no individual already. So that doesn't say that it can feel differently, of course, because that seems to be a felt sense inside the body, which is being mistaken for being a person as well, which is just an energetically, one could say. And it may feel that way, that sense, what then is called a you, seem to be there, and then it doesn't seem to, and then it doesn't seem to be there. So yeah, it seems to, that story seemed to appear as in a felt sense as well. So it's not just a story, and it's in that way for several human beings. Yeah. And that plays out as it plays out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's really a simple sharing. What is being pointed at is just all there is already totality. There's nothing else. So whatever that's appearing is totality. Whatever that's appearing is already freedom. I like the word freedom because it's free to appear as apparently everything.
I'd like to also say, you know, the analogies for illusions such as the rope and the snake, they also get me twisted up, Izzy.
Yeah.
Because I think what it is that I think the me would like an analogy because it gives a sense that, oh, that is going to help me to go in the direction of no illusion.
Exactly, exactly. Whereas what we're really actually saying is there is no illusion to begin with. So there's nothing to see through, which is why, you know, these sort of analogies can seem very hopeful because they seem to offer some sort of prescription or something to do or to see. And they kind of seem to give some sort of pointer to see through the illusion. But what we're saying is that that is the illusion. There is nothing to see through. There is no one who could see through anything. There is just what appears to be happening. Sitting on a chair, looking at a screen, for no one, carries no illusion. It's just what is.
So there is no real rope, there is no real snake already. That's the whole dreamt reality. That I am real, and what I see is real as well. So I can see a real rope, and I can see a real snake, for example. Or in other words, one could say, all that is seen already is wholeness. There's only wholeness. So wherever you apparently go is wholeness. It's impossible to miss it. It's impossible to escape it. Because there is simply no you to escape already. That's the simple sharing. It's too simple, really, sometimes.
Hey, Izzy and Nico.
Hey, Adam. Hello.
Hello.
I was just thinking, like if I go to a football game in American, or you know, any sporting event, and it's my so-called team, how is it that I can feel that what I'm seeing is happening to me? Because the whole sort of energy behind fandom would be that, you know, like a goal scored against my team is happening to me. And that kind of seems to be the issue, that what is seen, I mean, what's happening is happening to the players. It's not happening to the spectators. But that's kind of the same thing as if you kind of self-reflect, like, oh, you know, like none of this is happening to me.
And none of it's happening to anyone either. It's just what's apparently happening.
Yeah, but that weird thing about how I think it sort of yeah, how what is seen can be.
That's already
Yeah.
complete as it is. So there's nothing wrong with it without that life seems to happen to you. It may feel differently, of course, from for the so-called individual, but whatever happening or whatever is apparently happening is already totality. So
Yeah, that I guess I'm just kind of like with that psychosomatic knot, like I don't know, like that's this it creates sort of a distance, like
a bit,
somehow like
basically what the individual would like is to looking for a way out, or is looking for a handle how to live life, for example, or how to escape or stuff like that. And just this sharing is or in this meeting what is being suggested is that is already as it is. There's no escape, and that doesn't mean it's all when there is being said that everything is complete. It is as it is. It is complete, but an unpleasant feeling, for example, is complete as it is. Sadness is complete as it is. Pain is complete as it is. Whatever may appear is already complete. And whatever may appear, it doesn't appear for you, neither does it appear by you. There's nobody who is having a life, if you would like to use the words life. There's just life apparently happening for no reason. So this message, it's not even a real message at the end, but to call it like this, it's not about anything really, and yet it's about everything. This is everything. So, but it's not to be in a certain way, because the individual always feel, because it cannot do otherwise, that things have to be appearing in a certain way. And it wants to escape pain, and it wants to escape suffering and stuff like that. And just when it comes down to this, it can be unpleasant, which is understandable, but there's no escape. Suffering is complete as it is, it's suffering. Pain is complete as it is, it's pain. Just the illusion is that pain doesn't happen for you or by you. Can be fucking annoying though, just for no one.
Yeah, and the sense of being someone will always seem to turn, well, it needs an issue to exist really, or to feel that it exists. So it will always try to turn anything into an apparent problem that needs to be overcome in order for there to be freedom. So it will latch on to something like a contraction or a tightness or a tension, and it then feels that that is the issue. That is why I'm not free. And once that goes, then I will be free. But this is the whole illusion that seems to keep the dream of me being alive. Of course, no one can do that, but that's just how it seems to operate. It needs an issue in order for there to be a sense that I am trapped and I will then be free. But what we're actually really suggesting, as Nico said, is that there's just what's appearing to happen, and there's no issue with it already, because there's already no one to have an issue with it. But that's very confronting for the apparent individual who feels that they have a life, then they are trapped, and one day they will be free. There's no such thing as freedom, really, because freedom is all there is for no one.
And
Already.
it may, sorry.
No, go on. I just added one word. It's okay.
Okay, phew, the timing wasn't so bad.
It wasn't
But,
groundbreaking.
what I was going to say. Oh, that may be confronting for the so-called individual, or for the I am, or the person, the soul, the me, the ego, whatever you want to call it. The me gives itself a lot of names. So that may be confronting. And the funny thing about that, because there is, you are not seen in this setting, because there simply is already no you. So there is no advice to give and no one to give advice to. And for the individual, that may sound awful from time to time, because it really needs a savior from time to time. It needs some help, or it wants some help to escape in order for me to feel better, or in order for me to have a better life, for example. And the funny thing about that, nobody seems to laugh about that, but I find it funny sometimes, is that all what that apparent movement does, if one is trying to help you, there's nothing right or wrong with that, but to help you to escape is just maintaining that struggle. So in that sense, the sharing is the only compassion there is. It doesn't look that way for the individual often, though as far as I'm concerned, or as far as easy or already not to, whatever you want to call it, this is the only compassion, pointing that out. All the rest is just helping to maintain the struggle and reinforcing the sense of I am.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
Adam.
The me is always open for business.
Apparently so. Mm.
Maybe Celine Dion was into non-duality. She did sing once, I'm alive. You never know.
Mm.
Hi, Izzy. Hi, Nico.
Hello, Ben.
Hello.
Thanks for doing this joint Zoom.
Oh,
You're
nice
welcome,
to
Ben.
have
It's very
you.
cool. Very cool. So where I get caught up is when it said that all there is what's apparently happening. You know, sitting on Zoom, looking at a screen, body seeming to breathe and have bodily sensations. That's all that's apparently happening, and that's all there is.
Yeah.
But then it's also said that nothing is happening.
Mm.
So there seems to be a dichotomy between all that's happening is
Well,
all there is what's apparently happening, and there's nothing happening.
Mm.
yeah, it's an apparent happening. It appears to happen, which is not understandable really. It's just that lived sense when you feel like someone, there's a lived sense of time. Time is real, and I'm moving through time and space. And there is no such thing as real time and space. So it's an apparent happening, which is maybe often used. It doesn't mean anything really. It's just it's as real as it can get, one could say.
Mhm.
So that doesn't change anything, or
Yeah, I mean,
But that, go ahead.
well, I was just going to add, I mean, really, when you feel like an individual, when you hear that there's just what's appearing to happen, you can sort of get on board with that. You can think, oh, okay, right, okay, yeah, there's a body, there's a chair, there's the Zoom. Like, I kind of can get that it's okay, that's just what's appearing to happen. Like, I kind of understand that. But when it's then said that that is nothing apparently happening, that's a bit more like, well, I don't really understand that, because when you feel like an
Yeah.
individual, you feel real. So you can kind of understand that, okay, this is real. And then you can kind of maybe get your head around, maybe, okay, it's just an appearance. But it's still a concept then that it's just an appearance when you feel real. But actually what this actually seems to be is nothing being everything, is nothing apparently happening. And that can't be understood. As Nico said, no one understands that. There is no place where anyone will ever understand that. It's just when the apparent sense of being alive dies, it's just clear for no one that this is just, it's just this is just nothing being everything. But this is purely energetic. That cannot be understood. It's impossible because it's nothing. Sorry, Nico, go on.
No, go ahead.
No, you go.
And it's just saying as well that it's an apparent happening. There is no continuity. So as long as there is the sense, as long as there is the sense of being an individual, which is complete as it is, so to speak, but there is no, then it will feel like there is continuity, and there isn't. So continuity is part of the illusion, or I am is equal to continuity, so to speak. So whatever,
yeah, I guess it's just trying to wrap their head around it.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, what's apparent happening is all there is, but it's nothing. Yeah. But that's all there is what's appearing, and that's nothing.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's a complete paradox as well.
Yeah.
Because as long as there is the sense of being someone, part of that is that object subject. That's what seems to happen, or the objectification that seems to happen. That's part of a dreamt reality. So, and because of that objectification, it may look like for the individual that things can be understood. When that is no longer there, it's very obvious for no one that whatever story that seems to appear is utterly and completely nonsense. Even this saying, this sharing, is completely imaginary.
Yeah, it reminds me actually when I was alive in that way, so to speak, although it sounds strange. I mean, there was sort of this awakening in that sense, if we want to call it that. There was just a significant energetic shift, really. And I remember it was very clear to me that actually it was the other way around. Like, and someone in my meeting in Brussels had it the other way around. So basically, the person is duality, so it can only really get on board with one or the other. So for me, it was very clear there was no one, even though I still felt like someone. It was somehow clear there was no one and that this was nothing. But I couldn't ever see that it was also everything. And that was so frustrating because I could see the emptiness of it, but I could never see the fullness. And some people have it the other way around. They can seem to clearly see the fullness, but can't see the emptiness. And that's the thing, when you feel like an individual, constantly you are duality. So you can only ever see one side of the dualistic dream, really. Everything or nothing, but it can't be both, which is what it is. It's non-duality for no one. So you'll never see that it's everything and nothing. It's only with your apparent death that is revealed.
Yeah, it's clear it's not going to be gotten or understood. But it just keeps coming up as a sticking point for whatever reason.
And it's not understood here as well,
Yeah.
It may look like that we did come, Izzy and I did come to a certain understanding or came to a certain conclusion or whatsoever, which is not the case. So I cannot tell you what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get
As
you.
long as one can tell you what this is, I would run from it, really.
Aw.
Well, thanks for making an effort to speak on it anyway.
Aw.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Thanks, Ben.
Maybe I can say something about the upcoming live meeting as well. Well, there are no questions for the moment. So for those who would like to hang out and join a live meeting, so we can have some discussion in person maybe, or some questions and answers. It's going to be an upcoming meeting as in here.
Mm-hmm.
So like this, I have to make some place. So it's easy as well because I don't remember the dates. So it will be the 30th of November and the 1st of December. So 2 days in Berlin and Germany. So the exact location for those who are or are having an interest or would like to sign up and join, the exact location will be provided once there is a registration. And for the info and all the details, as well as the registration, you can surf to Izzy's website. And your website is?
This boundlessfreedom.co.uk. I'll put it in the chat.
Thanks.
Yeah. Most people know, I think, 'cause they would have come from the link, wouldn't they? But yeah, all the information's on there, all the dates and times and price and everything.
Hi, Edi. Hi, Nico.
Hey,
Hello.
Saeed.
Hi. I just about the seeing through kind of the question came up was that there isn't there anybody then left that feels in a different way. Like for the me, it's seemingly a second that things uh could get somewhere or would feel in a different way. But it's a question. It's not that the me things are this body or this feels in a different way. It's only it's seen that the one that wanted to feel in a different way or uh, a second that we're looking for something is that's an illusion. That's not
Exactly.
there. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's no one left to feel anything or to experience anything because there's just no one left.
Yeah.
That doesn't
No
say that
one.
feelings are still arising, so that doesn't change. So it's not that suddenly, because that sense is no longer there, that nothing is felt. I would even say that things are more felt than.
Yeah. But there's no one that would desire to feel in a certain way or I would think, okay, this would be bliss or that's not the case. It's just that I
There's
think,
no, there's no longer the attempt or the idea that it should appear in a different way.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's very clear that it's just what's happening and that actually it couldn't possibly be any other way.
Yeah.
Because the illusion that it could be different is the illusion that I have a life that I am in control of. But when the sense of being alive dies, it's just very clear for no one that it could not be any other way. Who would there be to be able to influence it? There's just what's happening. It's in nobody's control because there is nobody. There's just what's happening.
Yeah.
So even seeking, what we call seeking, is not happening by someone. So seeking is just what's apparently happening for no reason, really.
Yeah.
Because every human body, or almost every human body, is seeking.
And so it's not actually that you end up getting anything or having a different experience. It's just that the illusion that you could get anything or that there could be a different experience dies. And then there's just actually what always was already, just without the illusory sense that it could be different or needs to be different. It's just as it is, which is actually how it's always been.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Saeed.
Oh, I thought you were frozen again, but you're just very good at sitting still.
Sometimes, Nico, sometimes.
I was just wondering, oh, she's freezing up again.
Okay. Do you want me to read this one in the chat? It's quite long.
Yeah. I didn't saw it. Yeah. Be my
Okay.
assistant, please.
I will now, yes. We frequently say how unknowable this all is. Nothing can be known. Yet when you speak, it's often with an emphasis on how it is. Things sound true. like you just said, it could not be any other way. It's just how it is, which is how it's always been. This sounds like a certainty, not an unknown. Yet when you speak, it's often with an emphasis on how it is. Things sound true. Well, this is the crux of the paradox that the individual cannot understand, because actually what's being suggested is that there is just what's apparently happening, and there is just what is, which is just how it appears as it is. But this isn't a truth. This is the unknown appearing as this. How it is, how it appears to be, is the unknown appearing like that. And there's nothing certain about that. And yet it is just what appears to be happening. There is no doubt either.
Yeah, it's the absence of doubt and the absence of certainty.
Exactly. Because the individual would expect, when you feel like an individual, basically the individual is the doubt that this is it. And then you expect when you die or when there's freedom for there to be certainty that this is it, and there to be someone who knows this is it. But that's not what we're talking about at all. It's just, oh, okay, thank you, Rod. Take care. Nice to have you here.
Oh, thanks. Ciao, ciao.
But what we're really talking about is just the absence of doubt, not the fulfillment of certainty. There is just no doubt, and what is left is the unknown that isn't doubted but isn't known. It's just what's apparently happening.
As long as one, sorry.
Well, I was just going to add, so when I understand your question, Ben, because when you feel like an individual and you hear us saying, this is it, the individual can only ever see that there must be someone here who knows that. And that sounds like we're saying some sort of truth or some sort of statement about what this is. But it's actually not like that at all. It's just that this is it without anyone knowing what that means or what this is, or there even being an actual this, that is it. Yeah.
That makes me think, saying this is it does not point to anything.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly, because there is no this for it to point to.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. And it's completely incomprehensible, but it's just that. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why it's so confusing for people when we say this is it. Something so simple like that is like, well, what do you mean? What is it? What this? And that's because the person only turns it into a pointer, that we're pointing at something. But as you say, Kevin, we're not pointing at anything. That's the point. And yet it's also everything.
What seems to apparently happen is, as long as one knows what this is, the mystery stays hidden.
And as I think Jim sometimes, I think I've seen him say sometimes, if you want to call it a pointing, you can, but then the pointing is everything. So the pointing is it, and you're pointing at it, but the pointing is it. So it's everything. So you can't really point at what is, because what is also the pointing. It's everything. Like it cannot be pointed to, or I like the word illumination really, because it just illuminates everything. It can't really be identified because it's not a thing. It's everything.
Including this nonsense.
Including this nonsense, yeah. Well, I thought I was doing quite well actually, Nico.
Oh, did you? No.
But thanks for the ego boost.
If I can be of any help, sweetie, just
if
ask.
I have one, yeah.
Yeah. If it helps, I often say it as well, that what's coming out is equally nonsense. Does that soften it a bit?
Yes, I think so, yeah. We're in it together then.
Hi guys,
Hello.
Hello.
I would like to ask you about observation. So there is no one observing. There is just observation.
Apparently, yeah.
Well, depend a bit as well, because there's no
But
real
what-
observation going on. There's no observer of thoughts, for example.
So how can that be possible that there are only thoughts but no one is observing? Because
There's no reason for that.
mm,
There's no why to it. There's no why to it. Thoughts are just apparently happening.
Yeah, and it's actually not even how can it be possible. It's actually impossible. It is impossible. It's impossible. And yeah, it's what appears to be happening. It's a miracle. There just seem to be thoughts with no one in them. But then at the same time, it's completely ordinary. Why would there have to be someone in thoughts? Why would there have to be someone in the body? There isn't, and there's no need for it to be that way. There is just thoughts and feelings and apparent happenings, but there isn't an individual that's needed in that.
well, because I have heard about this Turiya state, which mentioned that there is a weakness of thoughts
There's nothing wrong with thoughts. Thoughts are not the enemy. Thoughts are
No.
just naturally appearing.
I'm just trying to know.
You can't. This can't be known.
Yeah, about the Turiya state that people talk about, that there is a weakness of thoughts. No, I'm not saying.
But there's no weakness to it. Thoughts are just thoughts appearing. Thoughts are not your enemy. There's nothing right with a thought. There's nothing wrong with thoughts. Thoughts are just appearing to happen. That's all. It doesn't belong to anyone. They are just thoughts. And there's no reason for it. Neither is there a reason for this meeting. There's no reason to anything.
And really, actually, when you feel like an individual, it's actually not so much, and this doesn't make sense, but it's actually not so much that you feel your thoughts are the enemy, it's that you feel you are the enemy of your thoughts. Because by feeling that you exist, there's a constant tension with everything, with thinking, with feeling, with being. Everything is an issue. In basically what we're saying is that actually it's not the thoughts that are the apparent problem here. The apparent problem is that I feel I have a life. In other words, I am my own enemy. Obviously, this is all a story because there is no individual. But in that apparently dreamt reality, the individual seems to fight with itself over its own existence, which doesn't exist. And somewhere deep down, somewhere something recognizes that it's this, what we're talking about has got nothing to do with thoughts. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, feelings, good feelings, bad things, whatever. This is apparently to do with the sense of my life is illusory. So it's a confrontation with death. It's got nothing to do with thoughts. Thoughts aren't the real problem here. The real problem here is that you don't have a life to begin with, to even have thoughts.
Well, actually, I don't have problems with thoughts. The thing is that I am trying to figure out this relationship between subject and object.
There isn't
there
one.
is no
You're trying to understand what cannot be understood. So there is no reason for anything.
And the reason you can't understand this is because this relationship between subject and object does not exist. It's an illusion. There is no subject and object experience. There is just what appears to be happening with no subject and no real objects. That's duality, and there is none. It's an illusion. It's an appearance that never happens. There's just what appears to be happening. There is no subject in the body who's experiencing an object called the meeting or the laptop or the screen. That is an illusion. It's an energetic illusion. There's just what's appearing to happen with no distance, no separation.
And there may be a clarity for some people or some understanding of the words that are being used or the concepts that are being used. And I would like to add that clarity has nothing to do in any way with liberation when we're talking about the liberation. Because every understanding is part of the illusion.
I came from from a group of study of the philosophy Trika. I don't know if you are familiar with this.
No.
The Trika and Shaivism, non-dual. Yeah.
But this, I would like to
Shaivism
say, this isn't a
from
philosophy.
India, and
This is not a philosophy what we're talking about.
yes,
This is just pointing
yes,
to
I have no. So I was like a little bit brainwashed with this idea that everything was Shiva, like God. Everything is God. Like everything is Shiva, and all that we see is Shakti, the energy and things like that.
that you are not the one who is seeing. So I have no idea about those concepts, and it doesn't matter to me as well. What is being suggested here is that this is already everything there seems to be, and there ain't no you in this. So you are not the one who is seeing, you are not the one who is having thoughts, you are not the one who is having feelings, you are not the one who is having a body, because there simply is already no you. There's just what seems to appear.
It's just impersonal.
Sorry?
Everything is just impersonal. It's
Yeah.
just well, that everything is just impersonal and
Already.
it's not happening to anyone.
No,
Yeah,
because there is no one.
And in a way, what you're saying about this group you went to or whatever, it's actually not wrong in a sense. We can say that God is everything and Shiva is everything, or whatever language you want to use. But the thing is that we're not talking about this as a philosophy or a concept or a theory. This is an apparently energetic reality. That all there is everything appearing to happen, or nothing appearing as everything. So there's a real apparent energetic difference between discussing this in a conceptual way about non-duality and there being no separation and there being just what's happening and it being impersonal. But actually, we're not talking about a theory here. What we're talking about is an energetic lived sense of there being no lived sense, of there just being a body with no one in it, literally, as a reality. There is no one who feels like an individual. It's not a concept, it's a lived sense, an apparently lived reality for no one, that there is no one who feels they're having a life, and that this is boundless aliveness, as this, literally this. So this isn't a theory, it's not to do with knowing concepts. It's fine to discuss them, but that's where this message is apparently different, because it's actually a very confronting, energetic, boundless aliveness that's very real, for want of a better word. Of course, it's also unreal, but so it's fine to discuss all the concepts, but at the end of the day, either you feel like a separate individual or you don't. And as long as you feel like a separate individual, it will always be coming from a sense of being separate and just talking about non-duality, which is fine. But what we're actually talking about here is that this apparent sense of feeling separate is actually a lived dream. And it can seem to dissolve or be recognized that it doesn't happen in a very real way.
it's really nice. I mean, that the fact that everything is happening, but that it's not happening for anyone. It's just happening. It's like, so you don't have any responsibility about anything. It's
Well,
like,
no, see, this is a complete misunderstanding, because in this way, the individual's trying to apply it to its life. Oh, so this is great, you know, there is no one, so I don't have to care anymore. But that's not what we're saying here. We're saying there is no I who gets the chance to care or not care. There just is no I that exists. So caring may happen and not caring may happen, but there's just no you to benefit from either of those or miss out on either of those.
And this communication, if you like, does not come out of any knowing. Because for the individual, it looks like there is one here or there's one there that knows what is being suggested, and it's not the case. It's the absence of it. There's no knowing of any kind what this is. Because every knowing hides that this is the mystery.
Yeah, I mean, it would be absolutely great. And trust me, that's what we all wanted. It would be absolutely great if there was this place we could all be where there was no sense of anything touching us. That's what's longed for. That's what's wanted, sorry, by the individual, is where I can exist without anything bothering me, basically. And that's the kind of dreamy fairy land that the individual lives in, that it thinks liberation will be. This does not exist. It's a dream. It's a total fairy tale, that there is some state or some land or some being where I can be and nothing hurts me. That's not life. Life is everything for no one. But all this illuminates is the exposure that there's just no one at the center of it. But that doesn't mean it's suddenly great. No, it's crap sometimes. It's awful. It's difficult. It's stress. It's trauma. It's also pleasure. It's pain. It's love. It's happiness. It's everything. But what we're just illuminating is energetically, there is no one who feels that it's really happening to them. But there's also no one who feels it's not happening to them. There's just no one who has a life or a sense of them having a life.
and that's already the fact that there's no one.
Exactly. Yeah, that's already the case. And it always has been.
Yeah, so what we're talking about is already everything. It's not becoming everything. It's already apparently everything. There's no becoming in this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this isn't about becoming or achieving or understanding or all those things, really.
Yeah, this isn't about anything. It leaves nothing to get into. There's nothing to talk about. That's what's apparently being spoken about, is that there is nothing to speak about. Hi, Saeed. Sorry.
Can I just throw? Kind
Sure.
of feel bad about throwing this question at you, but just I'm a bit confused, but why it is said that seeking is also what happening, because seeking ends.
Oh, Said ends as well. Oh, you're back.
Sorry, yeah, somebody started calling. Yeah,
Oh, okay. God
seeking
is calling you.
also,
Answer it.
yeah.
It's God calling.
Seeking ends, and he said that seeking is also just what's happening. So I'm a bit confused about why like it said in
Well, there's no why to it as well. So what seems to apparently happening is for almost every human being who feels like I'm a real person, seeking seems to happen. It's seeking for fulfillment, or it's coming out of there seems to be a lack. There's always something missing. I feel not worthy enough. I feel not good enough. And I'm always looking for a better experience in order for me to feel better about myself. Though there is no you who is doing the seeking, seeking is what's apparently happening. So if you're using the word energy, for example, nothing appears as energy, which is just a word, you can call it whatever you want. All there is energy appearing to happen, or whatever you want to call it. So seeking is as well energy appearing as seeking.
And it may just be recognized that there's no seeker. So as Nico says, seeking really is just an energy that seems to happen, but there seems to be a recognition that doesn't actually happen, that there just is no one at the heart of all this. And then somehow the seeking energy seems to just purge out of the body and unwind, and there's nothing, it's not plugged in anymore, because there's no sense of there being a real seeker behind it all. So when you feel like an individual, it kind of is keeping the whole closed loop of the seeking alive. But when the sense of being an individual dies, the whole seeking energy may seem to play itself out for a while, but just seems to gradually unwind. So really what we're actually saying at the heart of it is there is no seeker. And seeking is just what seems to happen without a seeker. It's just impersonal energy like anything else. It's boundless energy seeking itself.
Which is completely futile, really, because there's nothing lost and there's nothing to find. What is being pointed at is already everything.
yeah.
So it will never, ever lead to a finding. So the ones who seem to be talking about so-called this, what is and isn't, didn't find anything. No, the one who wants to, or who wanted to find something, just no longer appeared. And then that's the apparent end of seeking. Not because of, it does not depend on anything.
Yeah. So yeah. So there is actually an end of seeking.
Sorry?
So there is actually an end of seeking.
Well, seeking may stop appearing, yeah.
But not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as long as there's a sense of there is a you, there will always be seeking for there to be no you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the individual doesn't want liberation, really. It wants liberation, but I want it for me, for myself. So it's
And
basically saying, when I die, I want to be around to see how I am dying. Good luck with that, by the way. But...
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you, Hosni.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Saeed.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, well, we've gone a little bit over, but that's fine. So yeah, we'll leave it there, I think. Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming. It's been lovely to have a longer chat with you all. As Nico said, we'll put this up on YouTube, I think, Nico, on your channel.
Well, you recorded it, right?
And you have as well.
Yeah, but I recorded, so I would just, you will upload it on your channel and I will add it to my playlist, and I don't have to do anything this time.
Perfect. Easy enough for me.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, so okay, well, it will be on my channel then. And yeah, as we said, we're in Berlin together at the end of November, the 30th. Nico's put it on his screen, the 30th of November till the 1st of December. So it will be afternoon meetings both days, Saturday and Sunday. I believe it was 2 till 6 we did the times, but it's all on my website, the details.
Well, they're on my website as well, so they're on both websites.
Yeah, they're on both of ours. We'll probably go out for a meal or something on the Saturday evening. And there'll be lots of time for socializing outside of the meeting and asking questions and talking to us both. So yeah, email either of us if you'd like to come. I think it was emailing me actually, but no worries if, yeah.
Oh, you can have all the mails. You can do the work, that's fine.
Fine. So email me then, yeah. And yeah, but anyway, maybe I'll see some of you on Zoom, on my Zooms next week, on Monday. And then if not, hopefully some of you in Berlin, we'll see. So yeah, thank you again for coming, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you to you both. That was awesome.
Bye.
Twofer.
Bye, Bennett.
A
Thank
twofer.
you.
Easy, thank you.
Thank you,
Nico.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Welcome.
Thanks, Lucy. Bye.